Manish Tiwari, tell me, Pandit Nehru himself said, the CAG is not responsible to the government. It is open for the CAG to criticize the government in reports. When you and your colleagues repeatedly, directly attack the CAG, are you not destroying the very foundation of the democracy that Jawaharlal Nehru saw and visioned for?
Arnab, I will cut the chase, and
Yes, sir,
I will refer you to a document which is the verbatim record of the Joint Parliamentary Committee. Now, I am under privilege not to make this record public, and so is the CNDG. But what happened was that there was a very animated debate which played out between me and the CNDAG within the confines of the Joint Parliamentary Committee. All that I've been requesting the CNDAG is, let's have that debate outside, maybe on Arnab's show, so that the truth plays out in the public space.
Have you not been unfair to him personally? Have you not jumped on situations? Now, here's a direct point to you, Mr. Tiwari. You have been unfair to Vinod Rai. when RP Singh, who is a person who remained silent for over a year, suddenly came out and made a few points which you felt you could politically exploit, you made allegations about Vinod Rai being in touch with Murli Manohar Joshi. Not just you, other ministers said we must investigate it. Ashwini Kumar, the law minister, said it's a serious matter. Mr. Kamal Nath said it's a serious matter. Now, you're showing me one document.
I'm not showing you one document.
You are not even sharing the document.
I can't because I'm bound by privilege not to share it with you. All I'm saying is
referring to the document repeatedly.
No, I'm not referring to any document. I'm not referring to any document. I'm only saying that there's a verbatim record that a debate took place between the CNDAG and I within the confines of the Joint Parliamentary Committee. Yes. I would like to very humbly request the Honorable CNAG, let that debate play out in the public space. Tiwari, let the truth come out. And coming to RP Singh, let me make two things very clear.
You set him up.
Well, I think that's an unfair accusation. That's an and coming from you, that's an innuendo. That's an innuendo which I don't think you should use.
That is what has been suggested by a lot of people.
That's completely misconceived, and I would not even dignify it with a comment. But allow me to make one short point. And this is not using privileged knowledge of having served in the Joint Parliamentary Committee. But if you go through the records, what Mr. RP Singh said on the files when he was Director General, Post and Telegraph's audit, and what he told the Joint Parliamentary Committee on the 14th November 2011, and what he's saying now, there is complete consistency. So therefore, let's not play this.
Come to the I'm on a more fundamental point.
Let's not play this game of smoke and mirrors. All I'm saying is this debate will never end. This debate will only conclusively end if the CNDG, in his wisdom, and I do not want to undermine or subvert his position in any manner, accepts my request that let there be a debate in the public domain. So therefore, whatever has happened in the confines of the PAC...
The CNAG is obviously held back because when the CNAG speaks at the World Economic Forum, then it makes the government very uncomfortable.
Well, let's have a debate. All I'm saying is, I'm not challenging. I'm not challenging anybody. All that I'm saying is what played out in the confines of the Public Accounts Committee and the Joint Parliamentary Committee. Let's play it out in the public space. You've always leaned on in the favor of transparency. Why are you holding a brief for the CNDG, not debating?
Firstly, Mr. Tiwari, I'm not holding a brief for the CNAG. I am simply making a point to you that when the CNAG speaks, then it is you who first go and remind the CNAG that there must be a certain manner in which public representatives must express themselves. On the other hand, you're inviting him to a debate. I find a slight contradiction in those. That's not my point, however. My point to you is... I have never
said that the CNAG is bound by any Lakshman Rekha. In fact, if you were to go back to 2010, it is the CNAG's office which issued a press release reminding members of parliament that if they criticize the CAG report, they would be in contempt of parliament. There's a press release on record. If you want, I would produce it. So therefore, it is not us who remind CNAG of Lakshman Rekhas. It is the CNAG's office which reminds members of parliament of Lakshman Rekhas.
On the 14th of July 2010, Vinod Rai wrote a letter replying back to one of his officers, a Director General level officer, in which he said, nobody will share any details of the CNAG report on 2G with the PSC chairman or any PSC members, and that therefore there will be no such communication which will be made. One, he also said in that letter which we quoted on Times Now, you can only brief Murli Manohar Joshi on the NRHM case. You cannot discuss this case at all. My point to you is, did you needlessly besmirch the reputation of the CNAG by suggesting that point of contact with Murli Manohar?
I hold you in the highest esteem, Arnab, but I would request you not to quote selectively from that noting. That noting ends by saying that do not share any information till the time Chairperson PAC does not speak to me. Now, the germane question is, did a conversation take place? If a conversation take place, what were the contents of the conversation? Post that conversation, was there any information which was shared before the audit report came to Parliament? These are all very germane questions. So therefore, there is a note of 13th July 2010, which minutes a phone call from Murli Manohar Joshi to RB Sinha, and then there's a minute of the 14th of July 2010 which minutes another telephone conversation which talks about NHRM and which talks about the 2G audit.
I am talking about his reply to the officer.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
In which he says, he responds. 1 minute.
Please quote it.
In which he says the draft report is not ready. No details of the report can be shared at all with the PAC chairman. I don't know how much clearer it can be.
This is not the CNAG's noting. This is Rekha Gupta's noting, which is then endorsed by the CNAG. No, it doesn't, because it ends by saying that please do not share anything till the time the PAC chairperson has not spoken to me.
He says it is not possible to share the audit at this stage.
Well, I think you should read the noting in its totality. You know, since I don't have the verbatim with me, but I have it here. If I recall correctly, it ends by saying, ask PAC chairperson to speak to me. So did the PAC chairperson speak to him? What were the contents of the conversation? Did that conversation take place, and post that conversation, was anything shared between 14th July 2010 and November 2010?
Are you suggesting that? No, then you must say it straight tonight. You said that you would be frank, and I do not believe that Manish Tiwari does not need to be frank. I was asking you, are you suggesting? My understanding that the CNAG Vinod Rai is close to BJP leaders and is therefore being influenced in his report. If you are suggesting, you must say it. If you are not suggesting, you must say that as well.
Well, this is exactly what I'm saying. The role of the Public Accounts Committee comes into existence once the CAG submits its report to Parliament through the President of India, and it's sent to the Public Accounts Committee.
What went wrong?
So therefore, what was the chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee attempting to do when he was wanting to access audit findings even before the report was finalized?
You can question Murli Manohar Joshi for that. How can you question Vinod Rai?
Well, I think both of them are equally accountable. It takes two hands to clap, my friend.
How do you prove the complicity?
I am not proving any complicity. All I am saying is it raises questions.
Two hands to clap. You're suggesting complicity.
Well, what I am saying is it raises questions, it raises a conjecture, it raises a presumption which has to be answered both by the CNAG and the chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee.
Is this not the typical tactic of a very smart lawyer who's essentially raised an issue, put a cloud over the issue and said the responsibility of onus of clearing the cloud is upon the person on whom I put the cloud?
We've learned from honorable anchors.
No,
and we've learned well at their feet.
Manish Tiwari, I do not want to make this too technical. But I want to ask you
at the end of the day, you know, the German question, Arnab, is
about the loss figure.
No, how did 2645 jump to 1,76,000 crores?
Yeah.
So therefore,
but why do you expect RP Singh's version is the gospel truth?
Well, I'm not.
He said 2645.
Well, I am not.
Is there anyone else from the CNAG who has backed him up?
Well, in the sense that he is the guy who was the head of the field office. It is his draft report which eventually went to CNAG headquarters and then, you know, possibly was multiplied into N. All I'm saying is somebody needs to answer that between the 31st of May 2010, when RP Singh sends his draft report to the CNAG headquarters with a loss figure quantified at 2645 crores with a caveat saying that maybe it is not even possible to quantify the loss since government decided not to auction spectrum. It jumps between then and the November of 2010 to 1,76,000 crores.
The 2645 figure is contradicted by the CBI itself. Let me prove it to you.
Go right ahead.
This 2645 figure is arrived at by indexation. Both the DOT and the Finance Ministry, Manish Tiwari, agreed that the price of spectrum is a price indexed from the entry fee arrived at in 2001 on the basis of the change in the adjusted gross revenue per megahertz per year. This was the argument that they put during the years 2002 to 2003 to 2007. It was pegged at around 3.5 times. Am I correct so far?
Go right ahead, I'm listening.
So the CBI agreed and accepted this argument. The CBI accepted this argument. As per the CBI's 2002 charge sheet, of which I have a note in, and the DOT's approach paper, which came later in February 2008, a 3.5 times multiplier on the spectrum value of 2001 has already been determined. The figure the CBI thus arrives at is 30,000 crores. RP Singh says 2645 crores. You trust RP Singh?
May I give a 2-point answer?
Yeah.
The first point is that a charge sheet at the end of the day is a narration of facts and events as best understood by the investigating officer.
Are they also wrong?
It has to be adjudicated in a court of law.
But are they also wrong?
I'm not saying that. It has to be adjudicated in a court of law. Indian criminal jurisprudence holds that a person is innocent until proven guilty. A charge sheet is only the narration of facts as best understood by the investigating officer. Number two, did you read Mr. A.P. Singh's statement today in the Times of India, which is your sister publication? Mr. A.P. Singh says that we were not able to compute the loss. And the 30,000 crores that we computed is also notional. It is in today's paper today in the morning.
The last day of retirement.
Well, whether he says it on the last day or the first day, he's still the CBI director. And this is what the CBI director, the current CBI director as we speak, has to say about the loss figure in their own charge sheet.
The CAG methodology cites this 36,000 crore figure. RP Singh concludes that 37,000 crores can be recovered from those holding extra spectrum. He says that, right?
That's precisely
how is the methodology different?
That's precisely why I began by saying that let's not have this smoke and mirrors debate. Let the CNDG come out and have a debate. You know, we went over it. We went over it 3 days extenso. From the morning till the evening in the Joint Parliamentary Committee. And let me tell you, without breaking privilege, Arnab, the facts don't square up. So therefore, that's my version. So let the CNDG come and give his version on your show, and let the people of this country decide.
But then you'll say things are not settled on television debates.
Well,
there should be a certain propriety. You will then accuse Vinod Rai of breaking propriety, seeking publicity.
We are not accusing anybody of anything. We are creatures of the same constitution which created the CNDG also. After all, members of parliament, ministers of the Union of India, ministers in state governments also owe allegiance to the same constitution. We also take an oath on the same constitution.
You are challenging for 4 times on this
program. I am not challenging. I am very humbly submitting. Why are you putting words in my mouth? Okay, I am not challenging anybody.
You are therefore humbly submitting / challenging
I am
the CNDG.
Only humbly submitting, not challenging.
Submitting by yours version and challenging by
your version.
You are the CNDG for a public debate on this issue.
At the end of the
day. Are you saying there should be a public debate on this?
At the end of the day, yes, I'm saying that. At the end of the day, 1,76,000 crores sensationalized and vitiated the public discourse in this country over the past 2 years.
That's your point of view.
That is my point of view. Now, facts as they've emerged from within the CNDG, from an officer who was interested with the audit process, suggests that the loss figure could be 2645 crores. Well, he said the same thing on 14th of November 2011. He said the same thing on 31st of May 2010. So he's been consistent. So therefore, the reason why he's been taken seriously is because he's consistent. So that's why I'm saying, let's not have this smoke and mirrors debate. Let's debate it. Whether it was 2645 crores, whether it was 1,76,000 crores, or whether, it was zero, or as the CNDG has once suggested, 4,19,000 crores. So let's not swing from the sublime to the ridiculous.
I find it interesting that you have challenged the CNAG for a debate. We'll get a reaction from the CNAG.
This is not the first time I've said it. I very humbly submitted this 3 days back.